Thank you for joining us today with ECCouncil University. Today for our presentation on It's Your Future, and that future is now. My name is Mark Buck. I'm Vice President of Admissions with ECCouncil University, and I will be facilitating today's webinar. I'm going to go ahead and cover a brief agenda in terms of what we're going to cover today. In addition to that, we will leave some time at the end for questions. If you have a question, you do have the ability to submit that question via chat in the webinar. We will do our best to answer every question. However, with our limited time, those questions that we are not able to answer, we can follow up and provide answers to those afterwards. So again, let's go ahead and let's get underway. It's your future, and that future is now. All of you are obviously here because you are either exploring, entering into the career sector of cybersecurity, or you're already working at some level within cybersecurity or IT, thus it's your future, and that future is now IT, and you're looking for more information in terms of advancing your career, advancing your education, advancing your competencies and your skill sets. And we're going to try to cover all of those aspects today. So our agenda today, what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about who ECCouncil University is. Some of you might be familiar with who we are. Some of you might only know us by name. Some of you may have spoken with an enrollment advisor recently or in the past, and you're reinvesting time to explore your opportunity. So we're going to talk a little bit about exactly who ECCouncil University is. We're going to talk about some of the current trends and threats that seem to keep surfacing and developing in the area of cybersecurity, and why the demand continues to grow for cybersecurity professionals. We're going to talk about some of the industries that are in the greatest need for hiring cybersecurity professionals. Some of those industries might actually surprise you. I know they actually surprised me with some of the recent information and some of the recent data that I was able to obtain. We're going to talk about the global employment outlook, and we're going to talk about 3 specific countries and regions that are seeing significant increases and surges in cybercrime, again, thus really creating a very strong need for cybersecurity professionals. And then we're going to talk about why earning a degree is important. There is a perception out there that a cybersecurity certification qualifies an individual to get a job and advance throughout their career. While earning a cybersecurity certification definitely brings a great level of value to the table, we are identifying and recognizing that many employers now are starting to look for individuals to advance their education, their competencies, and their skill sets, and go on to earning either a bachelor's or a master's degree. So we're going to do our best to cover some of those reasons as well. So who are we? Who is ECCouncil University? We are a fully accredited US-based university creating superior cybersecurity programs. And let me pause there. We specialize in creating superior cybersecurity programs. And the reason we do that is we want to enable our graduates to really have the competencies and the skill sets to face the latest cybersecurity risks. And when they're out there working, leading their colleagues in how to handle those challenges and developing strategies. And that's very significant, and that's important, because while there are many reputable colleges and universities out there providing cybersecurity programs, many of them don't provide what we provide, which we'll talk to later in the presentation. But by specializing and focusing in cybersecurity programs, we believe we can bring a great level of expertise to the table in our programs to better equip our graduates. Our university actually builds on the recognition of the strengths of our parent corporation, the International Council of Electronic Commerce Consultants. Many of you may also know them as ECCouncil. ECCouncil, which is our parent company, is a globally recognized IT certification body that specializes in information assurance and e-business. So some of you may have already earned certifications through ECCouncil, which is great, fantastic. Some of you might be looking into earning certifications through ECCouncil, which we'll talk about the difference between ECCouncil and ECCouncil University later in the presentation. But the identification and identifying the need for advanced education beyond the certification process was the reason why ECCouncil was developed. We are licensed in the state of New Mexico. We're based in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and we were licensed by the New Mexico Higher Education Department in 2006. Accreditation. I had stated a few moments ago that we are a fully accredited US-based university. We receive our accreditation through DEAC, and that stands for the Distance Education Accrediting Commission. They are one of the most premier and reputable accreditation bodies and accrediting bodies when it comes to online education. ECCouncil University provides programs which we'll cover shortly, but all of our programs are offered in an online environment to be able to create flexibility for individuals so that they can still work within the industry and still pursue and obtain their degree and their education. We're also accredited by CHEA and recognized by that accrediting organization. And then we're recognized by the American Council on Education, which most of you probably know as ACE. And we're also recognized by the National Council for State Authorization Reciprocity Agreements. So these are four very, very reputable, credible accrediting and recognition bodies that really make sure that the programs that we put out and that we deliver always maintain the highest level of quality and the highest level of expertise. When somebody asks me, who is ECCouncil University, I like to think that we are our alumni, and we really let our alumni speak for ourselves. So we had talked a little bit about the difference between ECCouncil and ECCouncil University. While our parent company, ECCouncil University, provides individual cybersecurity certifications, ECCouncil University takes that education to a next level. And in an academic environment, we build on those qualities and we build on those competencies. And we do that by focusing in on the development of ethical behavior, innovative thinking, critical thinking, scholarship, and leadership. And we do that because we want to advance the goal of educating our information security experts. So the best way to think about this is a certification can actually provide you technical expertise. More and more employers, what they're looking for is they're looking for individuals to come with that higher level of education so they can bring levels of that innovative thinking, that critical thinking, and those leadership skills to the table. And that's what we do. We build on those in an academic environment. And you'll see at the bottom, again, becoming critical and innovative thinkers and helping our graduates really become research-oriented problem solvers, so that when our graduates are out there looking for a job, they don't just have the technical skills from the certification, but they really have that well-rounded education that brings these other skills to the table. We really pride ourselves on our faculty. If you take a look at the faculty that we hire, and if you look at the landscape of education across the globe, actually, we're seeing that more and more the days of hiring full-time tenured faculty seems to be diminishing. And while certain academic sectors still have that need, we truly believe that when you are in an IT focused and more specifically a cybersecurity focused education environment, we want the best in the industry. And so we hire working professionals as our faculty to come in and to teach. So what does that mean for our students? That means that our students, we talked about becoming problem solvers, innovative thinking, critical thinking skills. Our students have the ability to learn from these experts because they bring these world real world experiences into the classroom, and they help our students develop those solutions, identify how to develop those solutions, and develop those skills. So let's talk about the current environment and what some of the trends and some of the threats are. Cybercrime actually is estimated to have inflicted damages totaling $6 trillion in 2021. And I want to pause there for a moment and just think about that. $6 trillion worth of damages due to cybercrime last year in 2021. And I want to take a look at the next bullet point, because it shows that cybercrime costs are going to grow by 15% over the next 5 years. 15%. So by 2025, damages that we're going to see due to cybercrime are going to exceed $10 trillion. And this is up from $3 trillion in 2015. So just think about, how those damages continue to multiply every year. So what does that really mean in terms of global economic impact? If you take a look at cybercrime, it is the greatest transfer of economic wealth in history. And it actually is causing and inflicting more damage financially than all of the natural disasters combined. And it's going to be more profitable than the total global trade of all major illegal drugs. So I want to pause there for a moment and just put that in perspective. So when somebody asks me, is cybersecurity, is the job outlook good? Is it a good industry or a good sector to get in? I like to refer to these figures, because as these figures grow, so will the need and the demand for cybersecurity professionals. Again, some of these we know and we understand that we need to target and we need to attack cybercrime. But why? Why is cybercrime growing and advancing and evolving so much? One of the biggest reasons is it's the advancement in technology and innovation. And we'll talk in a few minutes about some of the industries that now have a need for cybersecurity professionals. And the priority has changed from as few as 3 and 5 years ago. But anytime you see an advancement in technology or innovation, there's always going to be an additional and an increased level of risk and threat. And the digital landscape is changing, right? How we go about it, how we do our business, and how we function and run our organizations, and the utilization of data changes dramatically year over year. And then if we take a look at the pandemic and what happened over the last couple of years, organizations were really forced to look at how they employ their workforce. And the number of employees working remotely and working from home has grown so significantly over the last 3 years, simply due to the need of the organization. And if you look and you'll see, many organizations have not gone back to that brick and mortar and that office environment. Many organizations where maybe 10% of their workforce worked remotely or worked from home now have anywhere from 40 to 60% of their workforce. So again, that changing landscape is another reason why cybercrime continues to increase. And again, the need for cybersecurity professionals. So what are these cyber attacks? Where and how do they happen? Well, some of you may have recently seen over the last couple of years, some of you may have received training on something called phishing and how to identify what phishing is. Phishing is a cyber criminal that puts together maybe a communication or an email that looks like it's coming from somebody you know. And all you have to do is open up that email, and that cyber criminal now has access to your data and to your information. And so, just myself last week received an email from a leader in our organization, and received a very quick email saying, "This is not a valid email, please don't respond." Ransomware strategies, right? Cyber criminals being able to get into organizations' database and information base and being able to hold an organization ransom. Crypto checking, just over the last couple of weeks, we've seen some of the cybercrime that's been happening with the increase in cryptocurrency that's happening, just the physical attacks. cyber criminals being able to get into organizations' database, state-sponsored attacks, right? Government agencies, various governments trying to get into other governments' information and databases. The evolution of the internet, smart medical devices, right? I think all of us know that if you go into a hospital now, if you're in the emergency room, somebody rolls up with a laptop on wheels, and what do? They take all of your information, everything from your name, your social security number, your insurance information, and they load all of that in. So, the medical field is one field that is seeing a huge increase in the need for cyber professionals. Third parties, vendors, contractors, partners, with the way that we've been doing business now. A lot of vendors, contractors now do their business electronically, and they have to increase the way they do their business electronically. Connected cars and semi-autonomous vehicles. I have a friend who works at General Motors in Detroit, Michigan, and just utilizing this in your vehicle today has created a whole new set of risks and threats to users because of the use of the smart vehicle. Think about it. When you get into your vehicle and you connect your mobile phone to a GPS model, to a Wi-Fi, to your mobile device, you're opening up a variety of opportunities for cyber criminals to hack into your information. So the automotive and the automotive manufacturing industry is an industry right now seeing an increased need in that. And then social engineering, just the whole concept of social media and how we function now. So again, is cybersecurity really the future? And I had talked about the increasing levels of financial impact and the increasing level of financial damages that cybercrime is happening. I would encourage you to go ahead and just take a look at your business periodicals. Forbes, cybersecurity. It's not just a job. There are many jobs of the future, right? In India, and we'll talk about that in some of the global impacts. In India, cybersecurity market to grow to $35 billion by 2025. And according to CIO.com, 3.5 million unfilled cybersecurity jobs by 2021. And I believe that that data point actually exceeded that 3.5 million. But we had talked a little bit earlier about who ECCouncil University is. One of the reasons we formed ECCouncil University out of ECCouncil was to help meet this demand, and knowing what the demand of the employers were going to be and knowing what the demand in the job market was going to be. And so our primary mission and goal for our existence is to help prepare individuals to step into those roles and close that employment gap and put a significant dent into cybercrime. So we talked a little bit about some of these. So what are some of the industries that are in need of cybersecurity? Banking, anything that has to do with finance or securities is a high priority target for cyber criminals. Healthcare, we talked a little bit about just the healthcare industry and how they collect individuals' data now. E-commerce, I don't think there's a Saturday or Sunday that goes by in my neighborhood where I don't see the Amazon.com truck at least 5-6 times a day. So the way we do our shopping and our purchasing is creating that need. We talked about manufacturing, automotive, hospitality. Unfortunately, a few years ago, I had my data breached and compromised along with approximately 400 other individuals at a hotel, because the hotel that we stayed at didn't have strong levels of protecting customers' data and information, and it was compromised. So anywhere you're utilizing a credit card in a restaurant, at a resort, in a hotel, you run that risk of having your data compromised. We talked about state, federal, local, and government agencies really needing to protect their data, not just to protect their citizens, but to protect their actual security, their global security. Education here in the U.S. over the last couple of years, we've actually had several universities which have had their data and their information breached and compromised. And so just think of tens of thousands of students whose personal information, financial information, all now became available to cyber criminals. The airline, I think we can all think back to 9/11 and think about the tragedy that 9/11 incurred upon not just us here in the U.S., but globally. And when 9/11 happened, those terrorists were successful because they were able to overtake an airliner physically. All right, it's not far-fetched. And the airline industry and the various departments of defense across the world recognize that we have to have the ability to prevent that similar type of threat from occurring electronically. It's not far-fetched to think that somebody could, if they had the ability, could literally take over an airliner electronically. So these are the levels of risks that are real and that exist in the world that we need to be prepared, and we're preparing our graduates to impact. Mobile communication, right? Just again, the use of how we use our cell phones, everything from taking pictures, downloading pictures, being on social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, anything and everything that we do from a mobile communication is a need. So what is that, the job outlook? What does it really look like? So in 2020, cybersecurity jobs actually grew by 38%. That was compared to 18% for all other IT jobs. So think about that, 38% compared to 18% for all other IT jobs. And according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the number of individuals employed within the cybersecurity sector is slated to grow by 31% between then 2019 and 2029. That rate exceeds the average for all occupations. So again, I want to pause there, right? Individuals employed within cybersecurity is going to grow by 31% by 2029. And that rate far exceeds the average for all occupations. So once again, when somebody asks me, what does the employment and the job outlook look like for cybersecurity? And is there a need? Hopefully, this information helps you understand the true impact and the outlook that cybersecurity has. So what are some of these in-demand career opportunities? Some of these might be positions you're already working in. Some of them might be positions you know somebody is working in. Some of them simply might be positions you've heard of. And we've got some average salaries here, but everything from a security specialist, incident responder, security administrator, jumping up to more higher level leadership roles, security manager, chief information security officer, security auditor, forensic expert. So as you can see, there is a wide variety of different types of careers that somebody can have in cybersecurity. And each of these individual roles plays a separate and a unique role in fighting cybercrime. So we talked a little bit about the impact globally and what that looks like. I'm not going to go through every bullet point. I'll just highlight a couple. Right now, India's cybersecurity market for products and services is going to grow to $35 billion in 10 years from the present $4.5 billion. So just think about that. The need for cybersecurity products and services are going to grow from 35 billion from 4.5 billion. India has a huge need, has one of the largest needs for cybersecurity professionals. There's a significant demand because there's a shortage. Obviously, as these needs and these threats continue to increase, they're going to need to fill that gap. And despite their educational institutions in India designing cybersecurity coursework and trying to address that need in their own educational institutions, that gap continues to increase and continues to rise. And this was a very interesting point for me. Despite having the world's largest IT talent pool, India currently lacks the level of cybersecurity experts that they need. So again, they actually have the world's largest IT talent pool, and they're struggling, and they're going to continue to struggle to fill that gap. What are the jobs and some of the salaries that exist in India? You'll see that many of these positions were on that list that I covered before: network security engineer, cybersecurity analyst, security architect, cybersecurity manager. And many of these positions, even though they are entry-level positions, they still provide an outstanding level of compensation and job security. What are some of the top companies that are hiring for cybersecurity professionals in India right now? Microsoft, Accenture, Salesforce, Thomson Reuters, ACT FiberNet, Tata Communications, Deloitte, and Capgemini Engineering. These are just some. So more and more companies are starting to increase their level of presence in India and other countries as well due to this increased need. Nigeria is another country. It's another country that's experiencing a huge influx and a huge need for cybersecurity professionals. Nigeria needs to develop a strong cybersecurity infrastructure, and it's going to be imperative for their business survival. Nigeria has a lot of catching up to do. They have a lot of development that they need to do. And similar to India, their educational institutions just don't have the capability and the vacancies to fill those, to fill all of those needs. The internet, Nigeria is one of the top initiators or individuals, cyber criminals in Nigeria are some of the top and most frequent hackers, and pose some of the most frequent threats on the internet. I think we've all heard about the signature-based antivirus, the man at both ends, the sharp rise of deep fakes. Some of us, I think, have experienced personally via the internet getting outreach. Some of the threats might be, we're going to, be sent to a collection agency if we don't pay a bill. We're behind here. And unfortunately, in a lot of these situations, individuals are targeted specifically that might be vulnerable and respond to that. So Nigeria is another one, very similar. The job opportunities: financial service, banking, health industry, the Ministry of Defense, and non-governmental organizations. And again, in Nigeria, even starting salaries, the compensation levels are very strong. Singapore is another top country right now. Between April to June, in 2 months, this past year, there were almost 2 million web threats against internet users that were detected and blocked in Singapore. Almost 2 million web threats that were detected and were blocked. Okay, that's not even counting or including the ones that were not able to be blocked. And Kaspersky Security Network, which actually provides some of the most current cybersecurity data points, they're indicating that they're seeing a 17.6% increase compared to the first 3 months of this year. So that is going to continue to grow. The senior minister and coordinating minister for national security actually unveiled a huge plan, a national plan in Singapore specifically for cybersecurity, so that they can modify their International Cyber Week that was held in Singapore. So this has gained such attention and priority in Singapore that they're actually dedicating more efforts and resources as a nation to be able to address those needs. Again, I would encourage you, just go ahead and take a look at, some of the cybersecurity threats. The COVID and the pandemic we talked a little bit about earlier. Singapore saw a huge influx during the pandemic, as did other nations other countries. Singapore, what was interesting was they actually saw a huge influx of cyber criminals exploiting fear and anxiety on individuals, targeting the vaccine chain for COVID, targeting individuals to purchase tests, COVID tests, etc. All different types of, for lack of a better term, online scams that existed specifically targeting vulnerable individuals due to the pandemic. The exact same here. Many of the job opportunities in Singapore are the same as they are in Nigeria and India. And again, I would just, challenge you to go online and research Singapore, just like other countries, very, very huge need in their military and paramilitary agencies, their government organizations, their Ministry of Defense. So where does ECCouncil University come in? Who are we and how do we help impact this and help our graduates? Well, we have a variety of different offerings. We have a Bachelor's of Science in Cybersecurity. We have a Master's of Science in Cybersecurity. I'm very happy and very proud to announce that we just rolled out our Master's of Science in Computer Science. And what makes our Master's of Science in Computer Science special and unique, we actually bring aspects of blockchain technology, artificial intelligence, and robotics into the Master's of Science, into the Master's of Computer Science. So, as I mentioned earlier, we are a university focused on specializing in cybersecurity. We will not create a program that doesn't have a strong underlying foundation in cybersecurity. So our Master's in Computer Science brings those cybersecurity components into the program, whereas other computer science programs do not. We also have non-degree certifications. So an individual might be thinking, I'm not sure if I want a bachelor's just yet, but I do know I want to go ahead and I want to enter into the industry. How do I do that? So we offer non-degree certification. So giving you the ability to earn, whether it's a certified ethical hacker, a certified network defender, you have the ability to attend ECCouncil University and earn your non-degree certifications. And then some individuals might already be working in the industry and they just might want an additional certificate. So we do offer graduate certification programs. And this is where we actually help on developing competencies and skill sets necessary for individuals to move into leadership roles, right? Becoming managers, directors, CIOs, and the areas that we specialize these certificate programs in are information security professional, security analyst, enterprise security analyst, digital forensics, incident management and business continuity, and executive leadership in information assurance. So whatever juncture you're coming in at in your career, whether you're just wanting to enter into cybersecurity and into the job market and start a career, or whether you want to keep advancing your career, ECCouncil University has a place to help you accomplish that and meet you at the point and at the juncture you're at in your career. The other thing I would like to point out that I'm so proud of is our degree programs do not require you to have a background in IT or in cybersecurity. So for example, our Bachelor's of Science in Cybersecurity, we do require individuals to have 60 credit hours or the equivalent of a U.S. associate's degree, but it can be in anything. We're seeing more and more students that are coming out with 2-year degrees or 2 years worth of education in finance or in accounting, and they want to earn a bachelor's in cybersecurity because when you think of those industries that we just got done talking about, some students are recognizing the need to double up on their competencies and their skill sets. Same thing in the master's level. We're seeing individuals who have earned bachelor's in non-IT and non-cybersecurity programs and coming into our master's. We don't require you to have that experience. So one question you might have is, well, how can you do that? The way we do that is in our degree programs, we embed the certifications into our programs. So if you are a student that has no IT background, you have no cybersecurity certifications, you can come into our bachelor's or master's program because we're going to help you earn those certifications while you're in the programs. Now, if you're already working in the industry and you have those certifications, especially if it's an ECCouncil certification, you very well may have the ability to waive courses in your bachelor's or in your master's program, which would save you time and save you money. There are a lot of individuals in the industry who've earned their certification because they wanted to go out and get a job and they've been working in the industry. Now they recognize they need to go back or want to go back for a degree. The wonderful thing about our programs is we can look at those certifications and help you devise a plan as long as they're from an accredited certification body. You can have the ability to waive various courses, again, which would save you time and save you money. The last piece of information I want to cover before we open it up for questions is why earn a degree? If I already have a certification, why earn a degree? Well, first of all, more employers are requiring them. Having that certification may get you an entry-level job, but at some point, many employers are expecting their employees to go back and get that bachelor's and get that master's degree. Number two, it helps you qualify for more advanced positions. If you want to advance beyond entry-level positions, many positions require you to have a bachelor's or a master's degree. It helps prepare for leadership roles and leadership positions. And even if you don't want to become the director of a department, just managing a small team of cybersecurity professionals may require you to have various leadership skill sets that an employer is going to look for. Obviously, with more education, you have the opportunity for increased salary potential. You have a wider networking opportunities, the ability to network with other students, alumni, faculty. I had mentioned earlier on about developing innovative and critical thinking and problem-solving skills. Earning a degree helps develop those in a more rounded education. And then opposed to earning a certification that gives you that technical skill, getting a degree helps you develop a deeper knowledge in cybersecurity. It provides you larger employment opportunities. We talked about critical thinking skills. And then the last is it prepares you for the future. You know, here in the U.S., the average age of retirement used to be 62. Now it's 65 and climbing, and they're claiming that the average age for retirement in the next 3 to 5 years will probably be close to 70. So I always encourage people, and I ask them, how long do you believe you're going to be in the workforce? Is it 10 years? Is it 20 years? For some of us, it's another 30 years. Another 30 could be another 40 years. So earning a degree really helps me prepare for the future and develop those skill sets and those competencies. And again, we're dedicated. We're the world's dedicated university in cybersecurity. And we want to help you prepare for your career, and we want to help secure you for your future. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and open it up for some questions. And it looks like we have a question here. I have a bachelor's degree in information science. Is it possible to do a master's in cybersecurity? Absolutely. Going back to my previous statement, our programs are designed so that individuals coming with non-cybersecurity and even non-information technology programs can enter in. So if you have a bachelor's degree and it's a degree from an accredited institution, it doesn't matter what area, what field it's in, because we're going to help you develop those certifications while you're in the program. I want to join your university, but your credit hours is only 60, but internationally it is a minimum of 120. So it's not approved by the world in Shambhu Kapati. Actually, our bachelor's is a minimum of 120 hours. So our bachelor's program is a degree completion program. So individuals entering into our bachelor's program need to come in with at least 60 credit hours, which is the equivalency of 2 years of a U.S. education. And what I encourage you to do is, if you have any previous college credit, let us go ahead, let us take a look at your credits, see what you've earned. Now, we require 60 to get into the bachelor's, but we actually allow up to 90 credit hours to be transferred in. So if you have possibly more than 60 hours, you may not need to take that second set of 60 hours in our bachelor's. That program might actually be shorter. But again, it is a degree completion program. If you have less than 60, I would encourage you to talk to one of our admissions advisors who can help and assist you in identifying the best way for you to earn those remaining hours to get up to the 60. How long does it take to finish the master's degree? It could take anywhere from 1.5 years to 2 years. And the reason I say that is it depends on where you're coming in at. If you're coming in with a bachelor's that you have no certifications, then you're going to need to take all of the courses in the master's. If you're coming in and you have certifications from an accrediting body, you actually would have the ability to waive various courses, which would shorten the length of the program and shorten the cost. Again, I would encourage you to speak to an enrollment advisor, because they can help you identify, if you have any of those credentials, which credentials can apply towards your master's degree. I have CEH, CHFI, and ECI. What waivers can I get if I want to do a master's in cybersecurity? And I hold an MBA in digital by Taiwan. Yes, you can apply those certifications to waive the courses. What we would need to look at, we would need to look at the certifications. We would need to look at the accrediting body that applied those certifications. We obviously need to see when that certification was earned. But let's say you have earned, and I believe we have up to the ability to waive between 3 to 5 courses, again, depending upon where you're coming in at, based on those certifications. So if you're looking to get that master's, you can waive various courses. Again, because I never want to promise or guarantee something, I would encourage you to meet with an admissions advisor or an enrollment advisor. Let them see those certifications where they were earned, and then they can literally map out for you and let you know which courses you can waive. And again, by waiving them, you're not responsible to pay, so you can complete your degree in a shorter period of time and for less money. Okay, cybersecurity seems to be more practical. How effective is it with online classes? Well, I'm a little biased in this. I will tell you that I worked in traditional education for many years, and there were institutions that really fought the online delivery and the online model. And when pandemic hit, they were forced to get into the online arena. And unfortunately, some of these academic institutions, they weren't prepared. And some of those institutions are no longer in existence because they just could not adapt. The institutions that recognized the need for online, I think have continued to do very well. Online is simply more than just posting a class on the internet. And if you look at our model and our instruction, even though you are working and taking a program online, you are still going to have weekly interactions with a dedicated faculty member. You're still going to be participating in group threads, class forums with your other classmates. You're still going to have the ability to have access to resources. You're still going to be doing work in the iLabs with your instructor. I'd be hard pressed to find many institutions that do everything on site. I think most institutions realize the need for online. So online, it's not just a matter of being effective. We think we've mastered the delivery of how we deliver our education model, and we find that many students indicate that they have actually done well and done better online than when they took courses at other institutions on site. And then the last piece, excuse me, the last piece that I'll point out is by taking a program online, you don't need to wait to finish your degree programs to get a job in the industry. Many of our students at the bachelor's level, once they've earned that first or that second certification, they go out and they get a job while they're completing their bachelor's. So taking their program online continues to give them the flexibility to balance their work, their home life, and their family. Can you send me the administration details so that I can contact him or her? Absolutely. I will provide you with contact information. And actually, what I would encourage you to do is, if you take a look, I would encourage you to visit our website, which is www.eccu.edu. If you visit our website, you will be prompted and asked if you want more information. And when you request that information, your request immediately goes to one of our expert enrollment advisors who will get back to you the same day. They will get back to you the same day, and they'll be able to answer any questions that you have. And you can even specify what specific questions you have. So I would encourage you, anyone who's interested, again, visit our website at www.eccu.edu, okay? And simply, it'll prompt you to ask if you want more information. Submit your information, and one of our admissions advisors will get back to you immediately. Okay, hello, sir. I applied for the non-degree program. Can the certificate get me a good job? I think a certification can get you a job. I think the question is, what do you want to do once you get in that job? So the non-degree certification programs absolutely bring value, and they can help you get that certification right away and get a job. I think, again, it depends upon the employer, right? Is the employer simply looking for a certificate, or are they looking for that degree? There are employers that hire simply if you want that certificate. But I can tell you, I did a student focus group in Albuquerque, New Mexico about 2 months ago, and every student in that focus group started just taking a single certificate or certification program and recognized the need to matriculate into a degree program. But yes, I mean, if you're get that first entry-level job and get started, the non-degree programs can definitely help you achieve that. I'm an IT student from Ghana. Is it necessary to take the bachelor's program again or focus on specific branch of cybersecurity by Maru? It is going to depend upon the institution in terms of where you earned your bachelor's program and how that bachelor's program is recognized. So again, I think an enrollment advisor can do that. They can help you look at the specific institution that you attended, kind of help you do a correlation of the credits, the education you've earned there, and then do a comparison and see how that is evaluated. We do see some individuals who've earned a bachelor's from other universities, but it's not necessarily recognized by employers. Employers are wanting that accredited US-based bachelor's degree for employment. And so that's another area where we serve a good need and a good purpose. Okay, can we send a link to our email so that we can register for our programs? If you registered for this webinar online, we will follow up and we will send information via email to everybody that registered and participated. Again, with contact information such as our website, and then also we will also send information if you're looking to register for the programs, which we are still registering for our January term. So we'll register individuals up till the end of next week, actually. So if this is something that is part of your New Year's resolution or something that you're looking to get started on, we can help you do that. But yes, please keep your eyes out in your email, because we will be following up with information within either by later today or tomorrow. Is there something like an entry exam or pre-educations count? I have CEH and CDN from ECCouncil and worked in cyber for years. So my answer to this question is, obviously, one of our requirements is there must be a demonstrated proof of English language as a proficiency. But if you've already earned those CEH and CDN credentials from ECCouncil, or I believe it's CND, then you have the ability to potentially waive certain courses. So we do not have an entrance exam. Again, for the bachelor's, we do have a requirement of 60 hours. And then we do have a requirement of demonstration of proof of English as a proficiency. If you've attended an institution that taught with English as the primary language, that actually will qualify you as meeting the proof of English proficiency. Okay, this is from Shambhu. You're in Nepal. I want you to join our university. I already sent an email to you, but nobody replied to me. Shambhu, what I'm going to ask you to do is go ahead and send an email directly to me, okay? My email address is mark.buck, buckmark.buck, buck, at ecc.edu, and I'll make sure that somebody reaches out to you immediately. So I apologize for that if you've expressed interest before. And again, for those of you who are looking for a more immediate response, please visit our website. As soon as you request information, you should absolutely, and again, I apologize, Shambhu, you should have received a response the very same day. Don't you offer computer science information systems? I mean, yes, we do. We actually bring a strong component of IT into our bachelor's program, and an aspect of that into the bachelor's of cybersecurity. But then, as I had indicated, we also have the master's that we just rolled out, which is the master's in cybersecurity with focus and foundations in blockchain technology, artificial intelligence, and robotics. So with that being said, please, if you do have any questions, reach out to us on our website. We have an entire team of expert enrollment advisors who are standing by and are on standby to answer your questions. And again, I do know we serve a student population in both the U.S. as well as globally. So I do ask that if you request information, please give us at least 12 hours. Hopefully we'll get back to you if we're on the same time zone immediately. Our goal is to try to get back to every request within 2 hours. But we do ask, again, if there's a difference in time zone, just maybe give us half a day. But our goal is to get back to everybody in the same day that they request information. With that, I want to thank you for your time. I want to congratulate you, again, because whether you're just starting to explore cybersecurity as a career option or you're already working in cybersecurity, it's a great opportunity. It's a great outlook. Employers need it, but also we need it in the world, and we need it globally to keep all of us safe. So thank you. I hope you all have a wonderful holiday season and have a happy new year. And hopefully ECCouncil University can help you fulfill your professional goals.